Hello again. Our anxious matric pupils have begun sitting for their final exams. The exams kicked off with English Paper 1 today. Concerns have been raised about the mental health of pupils, their readiness for the exams, and of course the impact that the rolling power cuts have had on their preparations for these final year exams. Let's check in now with Basil Manuel from Naptosa. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for joining us from the National Professional Teachers Organization of South Africa. Exams have started. What have been your concerns? What would be your major concerns? I mean, we've been outlining them here on ENCA from last week and for most of the day. We know they've been through the COVID-19 pandemic, lockdowns, this class of 2022, plus recently, as if that was not enough, they've been battling with, like everybody else, with the rolling blackouts by Eskom.
Dan, good afternoon and thanks for having me. Those are part of our concerns too, and the impact they have just about the blackouts, the rolling blackouts. It is about getting to school on time. It's about reaching class on time and the anxiety that comes with it. But more than that, we know that teachers have done a huge job. They have tried a lot, many of them spending weekends and even holidays trying to ready the class, because this class had to catch up. Grade 8, grade 9, and the gaps that were created, grade 10, grade 11, and the gaps that had been created. But not all kids are the same. Not all children have the same resilience. And we tend to gloss over the mental impact this has on the child who at any rate was going to battle. They were going to battle with a normal year. And now add to this a whole catch-up program, and the mental health of thousands of children has not really been looked at carefully. We're worried about them. We're worried about the stress brought on by the further load shedding issue, study time cut short, because these are the very children that will work until the very last minute because they have to work very hard to achieve the little that is sometimes achieved. And we are very, very concerned. And we're appealing to parents to look out for the signs, to watch the children, because we've done what we can do as the teacher corps. And now we have to say to parents, don't let it go too far and allow them time to rest as well, because they can't get into the exam room exhausted. So, Dan, those are just some of the things we're worried about. But it's not only children, it's teachers as well. There are teachers that are close to burnout because in matric this year, they've spent more time than ever before trying to ready our pupils. And then, of course, trying to ensure not only that the weaker and the poorer performing schools, but that all children are as ready as they possibly can be.
Yeah, have schools, do you think, and from what you know, let me not say do you think, do you know, have schools tried to prepare for all kinds of eventualities? I mean, it's very expensive to get alternative energy supply.
Dan, people have done what they can do. Readying the children is the priority. But of course, when it comes to something like transport, it's out of the hands of a school. When it comes to something like load shedding or blackouts, it's even further out of the reach of schools. Remember, the majority of our schools are quintile 1, 2, and 3 schools. These are schools that don't generate their own funds, that don't charge fees, that have to make do with the allocation they get. And that allocation is spent on other things like learning material. Acquiring any form of additional power, even as simple as a torch, is just out of the reach of these schools. So those schools are not going to have it. They would have tried, but they simply won't. Besides, even if they had a generator, the cost of running a generator has now become even more expensive given the cost of fuel. So that's a pipe dream. Let's set it aside. What is going to happen is that most children will not be impacted on in the exam room unless it's a very dull day. It's the schools are dark by very nature, and they are dealing with the subject like map work in geography, where they have to look at fine things. But by and large, the exam will happen notwithstanding the load shedding. It's the add-ons like the transport, like the getting there on time, like studying at night. That is what will be impacted on additionally.
Yeah, and you correctly said the parents as well need to be remembered in all of this and their role in supporting the pupils, plus yourselves as the professionals, as the teachers. You've also been through a lot. Can we just look ahead? We are told that load shedding will be with us for the next 2 to 3 years, according to ESCOM. The marking of the exams is also going to be important. And are you, as Naptosa, worried that maybe load shedding, blackouts might impact the marking? Or, like what you've just said now, notwithstanding the load shedding, are you anticipating that there will be no issues with the marking of the exams?
Dan, in addition to the things I've mentioned, marking, security remain always issues that we have to be concerned about. To deal with the marking first, it happens during the daytime. And once again, people would like to mark in optimal conditions. But because there's far fewer centers than there are schools, supplying them with generators, etc., becomes much, much easier. And certainly, we're going to have to make that plan because not only are people marking, they also have to eat. There are creature comforts that have to be attended to. So we have asked and we've met with the department and we've been given assurances that all these boxes have been ticked. Insofar as the security is concerned, we don't want to walk down the line of 2 years ago where there were so many issues around leaks. But we are impressed with some of the things that have been put in place to ensure that we don't have a repeat. Last year was a much better year. This year, we wanted incident-free.
Okay.
But we deal with people. And because we deal with people, you can never be sure that everything will be 100%.
Basil, Manuel, thank you very much. As of course, an executive director there at Naptosa, the National Professional Teachers Organization.